Dan McCarger live from Verizon Wireless Center, where this evening the Mavericks of Minnesota State University Mankato down the Beavers of Bemidji State 3-2 on Sean Flanagan's third period game-winning goal. And Flanagan joins us now. Sean, take us through the goal. A lot of times you'll see guys tee it up and shoot a slap shot, but you took the wrister and slid a little bit to your right. Did you just see a hole, or what did you see?
Yeah, you know, first off, it was a great pass by Lurkey from the wall there, and I seen the guy coming out, and as I was dragging it across, he came a little too far over, and that's when I put it to that side, and, you know, it found a way in. There was a good screen in front by Gervais.
Big win for your team tonight, a real gritty performance. And when you look at the game, not the type of game Mavericks usually play, a little more up-tempo, a little fast, but you have to be able to win games like this.
Yeah, it was a little different. It's not the way we usually play, but, you know, we found a way to get it done, and, you know, we just stuck to the game plan, and it ended up working out for us.
Coach talked about discipline all weekend long for this team. You have to be disciplined to play a team like this. You guys seem to show that discipline, especially in the game tonight where you have to play their style but still be able to win the game.
Yeah, definitely, and, you know, there was some penalties, but our killers did a great job getting the job done.
Well, congratulations on the game-winning goal tonight, and a big 4-point weekend for the Mavericks, and another home series coming up next weekend with more points on the board, and you're right where you want to be in the WCHA.
That's right. Yeah, thank you.
Sean Flanagan with the game-winning goal. Don Westphal will join us now for the post-game show. And Don, that was a big goal for the Mavericks, because after the play that had happened, you know, the Mavericks gave up a shorthanded goal after a bad pass along the blue line. They could have easily just, you know, hung their heads, but they didn't, and Flanagan had the shot at the right time from the right position, and he saw what he saw, and he put it where he needed to.
And Sean Flanagan, it just appears to be one of those guys who kind of puts himself in the right spot at the right time. Not very flashy, but has proved to be very solid, and can come up with those big plays when you need him to, and indeed he did in that regard. And again, getting the game winner, his fourth goal of the season to give the Mavericks a 3-2 win. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of tonight's contest.
As we see the Mavericks get behind again tonight on the wraparound goal, as they did last night. They got down in the first period. But then a big penalty leads to a couple goals for the Mavericks. We'll see a hit right here, and that'll send a player to the locker room for the evening in a 5-minute major, and the Mavericks score twice. The captain, Johnny McGinnis, sneaks one in first, and then we'll see J.P. LaFontaine will score in just a moment. Carter Foguth goes to the box, and it's a 5-minute major the other way down.
Yeah, that's the play there by LaFontaine, who now has 13 power play goals to lead the country in that statistic, also leading the WCHA with 17. And then there goes the penalty on Foguth, so he's gone. Both teams losing defensemen there in the second period of play, and coming back in the third. Mavericks would seem to be in control, but a really bad turnover.
Just a bad turnover. It doesn't happen often, as the coach mentioned, but it's the 7th time this year they've given up a shorthanded goal. O'Connor was in the right place at the right time, and he finished like he should. There you see the game winner by Sean Flanagan there again. Just that little extra slide that he took to the right where he's doing the toe drag. He was able to open up the net, and he was able to put it up the upper right-hand corner.
Statistically in the contest, again, the Mavericks actually tonight, even though they win 3-2, they get outshot in the contest 29-25. And I think, Dan, probably the biggest statistic, not just tonight of the weekend, specialty teams. And we'll talk about that after we take a look at the standings real quick. And obviously MSU keeping pace with Ferris State, the win tonight, still 2 behind the Bulldogs in that statistic. And for Bemidji State, things get a little more precarious. Again, they have a tough road to hold by playing both Ferris State and Bowling Green yet. But the Mavericks giving themselves a distance right now. In fact, they would be, looks like 7 points ahead of teams that are fighting for that last spot of home ice advantage. So the Mavericks doing what they needed to keeping that pace and giving themselves a shot, a really good shot to host the home ice in the first round of the playoffs, as we take a look at some of the out-of-town scores around the WCHA.
Ferris State continues to win over Northern Michigan tonight, 2-1 final. Michigan Tech puts 10 up on Huntsville. Second time this year Huntsville's given up 10. Anchorage beat Lake Superior State 5-2. And Miami of Ohio losing to Western Michigan tonight. St. Cloud over Denver. And UMD beat Colorado College tonight 2-1. A couple other quick scores. Ohio State, Michigan State 2-2. And Nebraska over Omaha over North Dakota 6-3 tonight. And as we mentioned, Penn State with their first ever Big Ten win tonight, 4-0 over Michigan. Here's the save of the game, Edward Jones save of the game, and it was a huge one, Don.
Yeah, Huggins there, you saw the initial save as he was holding on to the post, and Ward comes through, the guy who also, along with LaFontaine, came in as the leading goal scorer in the WCHA on the night. So he's got a knack to get into that net, and he was thankfully denied there by Cole Huggins. So the Mavericks inching ever closer right now to a spot in the play playoffs where they want to be home for the playoffs. They've only lost once here on the home ice this year, and if they can get that home playoff win, you'll see their destination, Grand Rapids, Michigan, the site of this year's WCHA Final Five, March 21st and 22nd. With a reminder, obviously, 3-game package is only $50. Granted, you have to get out there, but we've heard a lot of great things from the Chamber of Commerce and the WCHA personnel. They promise a good show, and it'd be nice to see the Mavericks in that WCHA Final Five. And at that point, you'd have to kind of wonder, maybe one win certainly would be pretty well of a shot getting into the national tournament. Of course, they want to take their first ever WCHA win. And the key tonight, Dan, I want to get to the point, the key that really is going to take a team a long way in the tournament. When you get special teams play, when you're scoring 4 power play goals on a weekend and you shut a team down 0 for 7, 0 for 8 on the weekend, Bemidji State, not a bad power play unit coming in here, but when you kill off basically 8-9 minutes of power play time consecutively, those are the types of specialty numbers that made a difference this weekend and really could make a difference down the stretch.
Well, when you look at the power play goal, the Mavericks scored the first one on the 5-minute major 12 seconds in. Takes all the pressure off. You know, if you go 3 minutes without scoring, 4 minutes without scoring, then you start maybe clutching the stick a little tight. But they scored 12 seconds in. They go, okay, we got it tied. Now we got a bunch of time to take the lead. They end up taking the lead, and they killed off, as you mentioned, about 9 minutes nonstop of penalties. And they did a just yeoman's work all weekend long trying to kill off penalties.
Flashy last night, tonight, a little bit of a tough yard work that had to get done. But Mavericks, and especially as you saw or heard from Mike Hastings, really like to play at Cole Huggins throughout the weekend, make some big saves. And right now things starting to gel, and the Mavericks should only continue to play well, because next weekend we want you back here on Charter Communication, as you're going to have a chance to watch this Maverick team take on a team in Alabama, Huntsville, that certainly you can't be overlooked. But right now the Mavericks, with a lot of momentum, taking on the team in last place of the WCHA. We could know by the end of next weekend mathematically that the Mavericks will be home for the first round of the playoffs there, the second full weekend of March. So
if the Mavericks aren't, it's going to be disappointing after next weekend.
A huge disappointment. So let's shore that one up, and we'll look forward to you joining us again. 7 o'clock, the pregame show Friday night. 7:07 7:37 the face-off Friday night from the Verizon Center here in downtown Mankato. For Dan McCarter, I'm Don Westfall, and the rest of the students from Bethany Lutheran College, we thank you for joining us for tonight's contest. The final score: Minnesota State Mankato 3, Bemidji State 2, and we will see you on Friday night.